Hey everybody, it's Roll Pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And continuing our look at the Rise of the Beast deluxe figures from the main line, which I think are going to be called Core. Actually, I think the main Rise of the Beast is all Beast Alliance, maybe, or is the Beast Alliance the real kid-friendly gimmick stuff? That I have to figure out. But anyway, from that main line, and looking at the Target exclusive Buzzworthy Bumblebee Jungle Mission 3 pack. This is Cheetor. Now, we've already taken a look at Wheeljack. I haven't handled Nightbird yet, but I feel confident in saying Cheetor is the best figure of the bunch. Really a lot of fun to transform. This is really what, in my opinion, the Kingdom Generations Cheetor should have been. This is just a beautiful figure in terms of sculpt, detailing, stuff like that. You know, just the way it comes together, um, the transformation, the accessories. It's just wonderful. Now, of course, we have that the brown section here in the back. I think that could have been covered up, but to me, this looks a lot more like the Beast Wars Cheetor than the actual the original toy and um, the Kingdom figure. Now, in terms of articulation in the Cheetah mode, you do have some movement here in the hind legs. You really don't have movement up here in the haunch since that all tabs in and sort of pegs into the tail. You do have some front articulation here, so you can get some actually some posing out of it. In terms of you know, bending the legs and stuff like that. Unless I just crippled the cheetah, I don't know. But it is really fun. And one thing, if you can't tell, unlike, well, I shouldn't say unlike Wheeljack, but the weapons are all stored internally. So that's really cool. So, yeah, I think we might as well just get into the transformation instead of pausing. First thing you want to do, close the cheetah mouth. That's not mentioned in the instructions. The mouth can close. Next, what you want to do is split the legs from the rear here. Um, there are tabs on that orange section that go into slots here on the rear leg. I mean, this is actually kind of nice because you do have some real beast proportions that by transforming the figure you create. But pulling those out to the side, and then what you want to do is just pull out the tail. The tail becomes a weapon, and this is actually a great version of the tail whip that they used with Cheetor and then with Tigatron, because then you flip down this top section and it actually has a blade. So it's like a whip sword or something. But we'll put that off to the side. What I guess you can do now is start to straighten out the legs here, just to get them out of the way, so you have room to move the hands. And in fact, if you want to go ahead, you can just rotate these around at the right above the knee, and then open up the panels here and fold the cheetah leg up. And actually, you want to fold it backwards, and while doing that, the robot leg foot will come down. So that's you get into robot mode. Do the same on this side, up and around. And yeah, there is a natural stop, so you do have to go in a certain direction. But there you have the legs done. And now what we can do is come up to the top of the cheetah, and then, like, even with the front cheetah legs, they're on a double hinge and a ball joint. So you just bring them back, swing them down, and they don't peg into anything, but I think they are handled a lot better than uh, on the Generations figure. Just keep them out of the way, just like that. Now for the tough part of the transformation, and that has to do with the cheetah head and the chest and the collar. Oh, before we get into that, fold these panels down onto the forearms. Yes, they rotate. Yes, they make an effort to cover up the robot kibble, and you might as well go ahead and just the forearms peg into the side there, so and you can just rotate them in. But we can't move them yet until we deal with this chest. So what you want to do is unpeg this section here, and then try to bring it up. Very tight hinges. Oh, like just like so, very tight. Um, and you'll see when we go into when we finish this off how they peg in, and I'll mention it now. Very tough to unpeg to get into cheetah mode, but spread open the arms just like I did, and right there in the middle is the gut gun, which pegs into place there. So we're just going to pop that out, and we're going to flip out the barrel. So yeah, Cheetor has both weapons. Well, I should say has two weapons. The original toy had two blasters. Since then, they've been giving it like a tail whip to try and like homage the Beast Machines version. But there's that. So we'll just put that off to the side. Um, and now what's left is to bring the chest down. So what you want to do is it'll happen naturally as you start to bring it forward. You will remove the cheetah head from Cheetor's head, and you want to bring this down. And there are two slots on which is really on the back of Cheetor on the inside, and there are these tabs on the chest. And you just want to peg those in, push them in, very tight, kind of fiddly to get out, but not that bad. And then just push the cheetah head down, that it will collapse in on a couple of hinges there into place. Now, something that the figure actually, let me rotate the head around. This is how the figure comes out of the packaging. What you actually want to do is then push in the sides here of these uh, neck collar pieces. That will kind of give them more of a pronounced collar. But there you have Cheetor in its robot mode. And let me just say, fantastic figure. Let's go ahead. Let's bring in some of the accessories. You got the whip here. And one cool thing, you got the hands are on ball joints. So you can get a little more play out of them than you normally would. And I do like how the tail is somewhat angled. You get a little more realistic look to it. Now the blaster does peg into the either hand. You're gonna, of course, either hand can do either weapon. But here's the cool part. As you might have noticed, there's a tab here on the side of the weapon. Nowhere in the instructions does it mention this. The tab is not used to secure the arms in cheetah mode. You come around the back here, you notice a large slot right here at the bottom, but there's a smaller slot right here at the top in the middle of the back that again doesn't do anything, isn't used for anything in cheetah mode. Go right ahead. You have weapon storage for the blaster. I have tried to find storage for the whip. There really isn't any, from what I can see, secondary um, pegs or anything on it that it would work. I mean, and then if you try to peg it in naturally as it would in the robot mode, it hangs too low and the figure can't stand. But it is really nice that they did work in some sort of uh, storage there for the blaster. But let's pull it back out. I mean, technically, I guess you can try to use these slots on the side, but I think that slot in the back is what that is designed for the port. Other than that, we do have the universal joints at the shoulder, swivel here at the bicep, elbow bend. We did mention the wrist articulation. You do have waist articulation, ball joint at the knee, over 90-degree bend at the knee, at the ball joint at the hip, over 90-degree bend at the knee, rotation there, and you do have ankle pivot. And you have a nice amount of ankle articulation there for the robot mode. And of course, there's a bulge. I don't know if I mentioned, but ball joint at the head. And let me just say, that head sculpt, that looks a lot more like the animated Cheetor. I mean, outside of the brown here on the legs, I mean, if this was like a straight yellow with the blue, I would say this could be used as a great, um, animation style Cheetor. And in fact, put, I would go so far to say is that if they were to repaint this in that style, although it's kind of close enough now, um, I mean, the figure's nice enough that I would double dip just to pick it up. Um, but yeah, I just really is out of that the three. It's a great figure. Best of the set in my opinion. I mean, without handling Nightbird, it is starting to show up in locations now in the single pack release. But remember, if you buy the three pack, you do save a little bit off of the price of the individual figures. And why I'm Cheetor is a wave one figure. I think Nightbird and Wheeljack are coming later on. So if you were to want those figures, uh, you can actually get them now without having to wait and save money on the deal. One other thing I should mention that I find kind of interesting is each figure comes with its own individual instructions. Usually, when they do these group sets, um, what they do is it's like just one giant sheet and with all the instructions on it. So the fact that they had them broken up, I wonder if these were just the individual. Well, we know these are the same as the individual release figures, but I wonder if they just grabbed them and put them in this box instead of the individual release box, and that's why the instructions are separate. I mean, I've already talked about the packaging and having a hard time storing the figure after the fact, but yeah, really just fantastic looking Cheetor. I really can't get enough over it. So what we'll do now is we will pause and I will come back with my final thoughts. Yeah, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say I think that the Studio Series Cheetor, like this should have been Voyager class, and this should be the Studio Series version, whereas what we've already gotten as the Studio Series Cheetor should have been in this the mainline release. Now, without seeing the movie yet, it remains to be seen which figure is closer to the movie design. Although from what we've seen in the trailers, that Studio Series one is closer. But I mean, I think this is the better figure. The transformation is a little bit more involved in that Studio Series version. You get more accessories. Well, yes and no. You with the Voyager one, you get two spears. This you get a blaster and a tail. I think these accessories fit better with what we know of Cheetor from Beast Wars and the post Beast Wars canon, which is, you know, again, whether or not you feel that's important is up to you. But again, fantastic transformation. Um, Not as simple as you would think, not as straightforward. It's not like the Kingdom one. There's a lot more flips and I just like how everything comes together in the end to give a better robotic cheetah mode. I think that's something to be like mentioned is that you have a lot more haunches and muscle skeletal segments that you don't have on the Kingdom, the original the Kingdom Cheetor, the original Beast Wars Cheetor. So there is that. Now, these are showing up in Targets. These are, again, Buzzworthy Bumblebee, Target exclusive. So you can get them now. And as I mentioned, this is you buy the set. You are getting the figures at a bit of a discounted price than buying them individually. And I do believe you're getting at least Nightbird and Wheeljack earlier than you would to get them individually. Also, I don't know if the individual figures are showing up in Target yet. They're showing up in other stores, and I'm not even sure they're in the United States yet. So there is that. So you really can just get a leg up on the collection. It does remain to be seen, what exactly these maximal figures will, what role, what purpose, how long they're in the film. We do know Cheetor has a voice actor, so he'll have some speaking lines. So we'll go from there. Um, but that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this review, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. While I will always appreciate the views, the likes, comments, and subscriptions help to me to communicate to YouTube through their algorithms that my channel should be exalted and held upon high. I know with doing movie figures, I've gotten a lot of new subscribers, and I hope you people, you guys, gals, what have you, stick around and go and check out some of my older videos as we do have a lot of fun on this channel, and a lot of times I take a look at things that other reviewers aren't interested in, and on occasion I've been lucky enough to get first looks at certain figures and stuff like that without stealing them off of the factory line. Also, if you want to make an ultimate sign of support, I do have a Patreon. It is www.patreon.com/chuckdog1999. All I ask for is $1 a month, $12 a year. No thrills, no tiers, no special rewards. All you're doing is helping me help you to help me help you bring figures like this to you, as well as keeping up the infrastructure of the channel. But as I always say, I know times are tough right now. We have inflation going on. People are having to make the actual decision between putting gas in the car or putting food on the table. So in those situations like that, I just want to say you don't have to worry about me. You certainly don't have to worry about, my needs and stuff. You take care of you. Your views are more than thanks enough. Patreon is just a cherry on top of an already generous sundae. So, with that being said, this is your old pal Chuck for Rise of the Beast Cheetor. We will see you next time.